Ever since the release of God's Not Dead, it seems like every year around this time, especially around Easter, that there is a faith-based released film, a Christian film, that arrives in theaters. Whether it be about a family overcoming a struggle and with their faith, or a film about Jesus Christ himself. And this year is no different, as we have a series of Christian-based films coming out. And the first one out of the gate is Risen. Risen is an interesting tale that looks at the New Testament and the resurrection of the death, the crucifixion and resurrection of the Messiah, Jesus Christ. And it is taken from the vantage point of what we are told is a non-believer. Clavius, a Roman tribune, is tasked with his aide, Lucius, to supervise the crucifixion of Jesus, Yeshua, in this film, and make sure that that he is disposed of properly, so that Pilate can prevent any kind of uprising from occurring before Caesar arrives in the area. Now, Clavius, who has seen his fair share of battles, as we are first introduced when we first see him, is obviously getting weary of combat, and is starting to get a little sympathetic, and he does have a slight moral code, and instead of disposing of Yeshua, in the fashion that Pilate requested, he allows him to be taken and buried. And as we know, the tale, he eventually rises from the grave 3 days later. Now, what's interesting about this film, directed by Kevin Reynolds, yes, Kevin Reynolds of Robin Hood and Waterworld fame, is that the film takes the vantage point of this man, Clavius, and it kind of takes a real-world, almost procedural, cop CSI almost procedural approach to the resurrection, and he basically methodically tries to figure out just what exactly is going on here, how could this happen, who is involved, and it is not until he actually witnesses something that his belief in what he sees before him is shaken, and he finds himself having to follow through to find out just what exactly is going on here and where does this lead. The film itself is a rather interesting, presents a rather interesting dilemma, because as I was watching it, I was wondering just who exactly is this film catering to? Is it for the faithful? Is it for the non-believers? It's very much geared towards a general audience, because it's surprisingly not very heavy-handed or preachy, or it never really tries to shove religion down your throat, as I always fear with most faith-based films, to the point where it gets rather uncomfortable that you don't want to sit there watching this. But as I'm watching it, I'm wondering if you're Christian or whatever faith you happen to be, and you're watching this, why would you want to spend 2 hours wanting to watch a non-believer come to believe what you already believe, and to basically catch up to where you are? And on the flip side, if you're a non-believer, why would you want to sit there watching this guy just for 2 hours trying to come to grips with what exactly he's seeing? And in the end, because this is based on past history, which in many circles people consider as fictional, and they're inserting a fictional character into this story, that you wonder that when he comes to his conclusions that you got nowhere, because he finds his faith shaken, but he finds his belief because he witnessed things with his own eyes. But because we ourselves have not witnessed him with our own eyes, and we know this is just a movie, you really don't get anywhere. I mean, clearly at the end it's really emphasizing faith, and you got to have faith, and You got to stick to your faith and believe. But again, if that's not your game, that's not what you're into, then this movie's just going to basically just be a waste of time. But for me, at least, it did drag a bit here and there. I mean, I'm totally familiar with the story of Yeshua and the crucifixion and resurrection, and I did like the approach of it. Almost felt like it's a spin-off, where basically they just take a random character at the crucifixion and then tell their story from that point on. And Joseph Fiennes plays Claudius, and he was good. And Peter Firth plays Pontius Pilate. Tom Felton plays Lucius, Claudius's aide, and Cliff Curtis plays Yeshua. Like I said, it gets kind of, for me, it got a little dull, and but I was just thankful that it wasn't very heavy-handed and preachy and trying to shove religion down my throat, and it presented a rather interesting take on the tale. But it didn't resonate with me much at all, but in comparison to the audience who I saw with, who applauded at the end. But in the end, it was just like, So I would have to give Risen a 2.5 stars out of 5. 2.5 stars out of 5. It didn't resonate with me, and I could totally get where this the character arc is going, and that can be engaging. But in the end, I just felt like it amounted to nothing. But that's my opinion. So Risen, 2.5 stars out of 5. So if you like this review, hit that like button below. Have you seen Risen? Have you heard of Risen? Were you planning on seeing Risen? Please comment below and share your thoughts. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, so you can stay on top of my reviews as they come in. And when you have the opportunity, please do check out and bookmark ErnieTrinidad.com for your movie news, reviews, and any other movie-related info I'll be able to provide. So until next time, we'll see you at the movies.